Welcome back, man. This Levi. This is It's the Way We Live. This is where we come together to gain more wisdom, knowledge, and understanding about what this life. George Bernard Shaw said, "Life isn't just about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself." At one part of my life as a child, man, life was very, very fulfilling, man. Nothing could stop me. I was a baby Superman looking up to his parents. I knew they had all of the answers and solutions to my life. Couldn't be stopped. Nobody could take my confidence. I had all of the tools in my advantage. I remember sitting in my corner doing writing, reading, playing the keyboards, creating beats in my own way. At one point in time, my life was just set up for to go to the Birmingham School of Fine Arts. Couldn't wait to become stronger as an adult so I could show the world my God-given talents. Man, I had a father, ambitious individual. He climbed his way to entrepreneurship. I had a mother. She was very firm, like my grandfather, standing firm on her principles and beliefs. I had the perfect dynamic. My life was very, very planned out and determined. I used to make a killing from this magazine called Olympia Sales Club, hustling items to teachers and parents. Man, at 10 years old, I was making probably out between like $100 and $300 a week while flipping guys on their neck during wrestling matches, taking my frustration out from them because of the shit I endured as a black kid going to a predominantly white school. Plus, I was the only child. So it was my way or get the hell on. When we are children, our first heroes are what? Our parents. As male, as a male, my mother, she was my nurturer. My father, he was my protector, my provider. Being an only child, those two people were my go-to. I trusted them with everything I had in those moments within my youth. What if the cards just don't fall right in life? Choices, decisions, and consequences are being created that is out of your control. So what does a child do? I'm gonna tell you what I did. I held on and I rode the shit out of this thing we call life. There was a time where my life went completely left field. I never understood money when I was younger until my parents mismanaged all of theirs. All I knew as a child, I knew I never want to be in this situation again. Life is fabulous when the money is coming in, especially when you got a sprinkle of that Jesus saves going on. But how do you handle life mentally as a child when you experience culture shock, poverty, and a lack of resources? And for some, children who have been touched on by the people who they have trusted. How bad are children affected when expectations are shattered by our loved ones? What does a child do when the two favorite people begin to hate each other and circumstances are projected onto the child? This is where trauma begins in some instances. And this is where my trauma began. This is where I built the shell around me. This is where the shell around the boy or the girl who never grows up thickens. While the demons begin to what? Protect the heart, creating the outer layer of hardness and cruelty. As we grow into adults, from toddlers, preteens, young adults to adults, some children gradually lose faith in what they parent. They go from superheroes to plain old mediocre plain Jane. A complete letdown. In some cases, some children never have this issue. But from my experience, my peers and I, we dealt with the similar issues while growing into adults. We lost faith in our parents. For me, it caused resentment, hurt, anger, and it created trust issues. At one point in my life, I wanted no parts of my parents because I felt abandoned. I was neglected. One parent, this is how I felt about it. But one parent left me because of the pressures, balancing out responsibility, and the other parent left me for religion. I held on tight to Jesus because this was the only example of a perfect man that ever walked on this earth. How do these letdowns affect us as adults? Well, it creates traumas, and traumas can create what? Lack of accountability from a childhood. Our parents, especially single mothers, and their boys tend to overshelter or overnurture us from having to struggle, which can handicap us from being mature adult men. The emotional trauma freezes our growth. We are easily triggered. We never recover from the childhood trauma, and it affects us as grown adults. We tend to avoid the hard truths and challenges that he or she has experienced from childhood. So, what are the signs of an immature adult? Can't take criticism. There's always a family member, associate, or a friend who either wants to fight or claim that you're being negative all the time when you're trying to give constructive criticism, especially if it's room for improvement. We can't confuse this with being judgmental. I had to learn the difference between the two. Some adults love to blame others for the shortcomings. When we reach a certain age, there comes a point in our life where we have to look in the damn mirror.
Do you need reliable transportation? Your steel, lumber, your general freight? AMA Logistics will be your partners in transit. Whether it's regional deliveries or long hauls across the country, we'll cover you with top notch flatbed services you can trust. We have years of experience and will commit to your safety. We will ensure your cargo gets where it needs to be and on time. AMA Logistics, your freight, our priority, your partners in transit. Call us today for a quote.
The need for constant validation. This is me, man. I needed a person to recognize my worth and value in their life. I didn't realize how much pressure I would be putting on people, mainly the women who I was dating. It's something that I had to work on. Now I understand my self-worth, validating the God within me as I step through this life. You got avoiding responsibility. A lot of people can agree on this one. Whether it's paying your bills, debt, obligations with people, or dedication to bettering yourself. We hate owning up to the hard things that make us better. We hate having to be responsible for the hard stuff. I hear people all the time and they say, I hate confrontation. When being able to confront an issue head on in a civil manner is very much needed. People think that they can hide and think time can smooth things over. In some cases, that might be true, but in other situations, it might cause more problems in the future. You got the lack of discipline or self-awareness. A lot of us do not know who we are. We're just walking through this life as zombies as time goes by. A lot of people lack the discipline to control themselves for their own greater good. That will contribute to their livelihoods and others. How do we overcome this trauma or break this trauma cycle? Well, first, we have to stop being hard on ourselves. We got to begin to love the inner child again. We have to break the shell of the demons that have barricaded our true self. And you have to get around mature, like-minded people that's consistently practicing the renewing of what? The mind. Sitting around hanging with your friends and associates on that bum activity with no intent to better yourselves, man, you can't do nothing but point the finger at your own self. Don't blame nobody else. I tell my friends and my little cousins and stuff all the time, if you're gonna spend time on the game all day or you're gonna scroll endlessly on the internet, man, you might as well learn how to use OBS. Learn how to stream and earn some income. If you like clubbing all day and night, invest in becoming a club promoter. If you love gambling, shooting dice, and betting in the streets, take that same energy and learn how to bet on the stock market, crypto, learn about future contracts, money that's gonna grow over time. It's gonna help you when you get old. If you love helping people, I'm speaking for myself. Surround yourself with people who are in nonprofit organization, community outreach, motivational speaking. The enemy, I love helping others. I had to realize the environment that I associated myself with. It was straight nigga shit. Hanging with so-called brothers and sisters who are in survival mode, trying to beat each other on the way to the top just to make it there and lose it all because nobody had the proper discipline or even took the time to obtain the knowledge in order to keep it. You have to face your inner demons. Come to terms with those uncomfortable truths. I can recall dating women in the past that may have been naive, green, or in survival mode. Why did I choose these type of women though? I've always had friends that are women of high caliber, but I keep them at bay as friends. We can get some money. That was about it. As I began to work on self, the truth is I just didn't want to be accountable for my shit. I ain't want those type of women to see my flaws, nor question me about it. I wasn't ready to grasp my God for them. I wanted to run the street still while my little fine shit worship the ground I walked on. And they wouldn't question me, nor hold me accountable for my bullshit. But guess what? Fine shit don't add fruit to my life. They just stroke my ego. We were just trauma bonding, having great sex, getting intoxicated, and leaving the dimensions of our reality and never healing. And we would create a never-ending cycle. As men, we have to understand that we are the cause of this destruction when we do this. The mind manipulation will one day backfire, leaving both men and women hurt in the end. Practice accountability daily. Take the time out in your day and analyze, observe, and see where you could have performed better. You must build emotional strength through the adversity. Every day when you wake up, life sometimes will give you challenges. You must be able to find the solutions to overcome these challenges and just move forward. Being an adult can be stressful. Not only do we take on the adult-like responsibilities, we also take on these responsibilities while battling trauma that we have experienced as a child. It's easy for us to blame our parents or others for our misfortune. We must understand that our parents did the best they could in those moments based on their own understanding. The truth is, life, life just be lifing. And it can be hard at times. It's important to take the time out to talk to people that you can trust, like a therapist or a trusted authority figure. Don't beat yourself up, nor compare yourself to others to seem like they're doing better. Take out the time, work on yourself, and be a better you. That's what? The best choice that you could do while you're in this life. Yeah.